Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. And today what I wanted to do is to take some time and explain why and how Bitcoin can still be bullish from this current price range, because there are a couple of things that, if they go unnoticed, will certainly lead you to believe that this is a more bearish situation than bullish one. But if you can recognize and play these things into factors, you're certainly going to be looking at this as not only a more probable outcome for the bulls, but something that I definitely could see happening here very, very soon. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into today's video. Now, as I mentioned, there are a couple of key factors that I want to talk about here. The first one being this previous resistance range on Bitcoin now being used as support. And for us to be able to see this properly, we are going to have to zoom in just a little bit. So breaking this down just slightly ever so more on this 4-hour time scale, I want to highlight this range that I am talking about, because we can see that there is a clear level of support over around this 8.7K area on Bitcoin, especially over the last couple of days here. So with this range being such a significant support and such a consistent support on Bitcoin, all we really have to do is look over to the left, and we can see that this is the top of this previous range now being of the bottom of the current range. And this is a very, very popular event that happens in cryptocurrency, and I would say even more so in just all of trading. What you see is now previous resistance is now current support, and this is also can be known as a break, hook, and go formation. Of course, this being the break, and then this coming back and being the hook on, again, former resistance now turn support, and then the go. So you can call this an Elliott wave, you can call this a break, hook, and go, you can call this resistance turn support, but I would say that this is definitely one of those bullish factors that you would at least have to look at. And so when looking at this from the common eye and just having EMAs in here, you're saying, well, Brendan, it's actually just using this as resistance. But if you do a little bit more of a deeper and even slightly of a little bit of a historical analysis, you are seeing that this former resistance range is now being used as support, and all that you have over here is actually not a single candle body closing below it, and you just have 3 wicks, which, might I add, got entirely bought up by Bitcoin, and now this price action is trading above that range again, with, of course, all the candle body closings above it. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I usually don't like to bring up, but something that I thought was very significant. One of my good friends, Tess, actually showed me this, and this is the changes in some of these stable coins. Now, if you go over here and you look at this, the normal changes for things like BNB and a couple of these other ones like BAT, ZRX, again, under 1% for the most part. You go and you look at some of the stable coins, they're down 10, or these are some of the wallets by whales being down 10%, nearly 13.5%, another 10%, 6.2%. So why are all of these stable coins losing money? And if so, if all these stable coin whales are getting out of stable coins, where is all this money going to? And again, it's not just like it's just it's not like it's just US dollar Tether, or it's just PAX, or just one of these specific stable coins. If all of these different stable coins are all losing significant amounts, at least from these whale wallets, they have to be going into something. Again, you don't just take things out. I doubt that all of these wallets at the exact same time are all just going into fiat, and they're all just going into something that we don't know about. Generally, when this happens, they will go back into Bitcoin or into one of the major cryptocurrencies that we all know, thus pushing up the entirety of the crypto market. So with all of these, again, stable coins, again, just a theory, but typically when this does happen, usually this money will flow back into Bitcoin itself or into the cryptocurrency market from those stable coins, kind of adding to this idea that this is still a very, very, very bullish situation, in my opinion. Now, at the most, I see this guy pulling back to the bottom of this former channel, otherwise known as the bottom of this resistance line. Very, very firm resistance line for the most part. We see the first touch point up in here, then the second and the third, fourth, fifth, and then now currently we are looking, Now we currently are looking for a potential 6, because we broke this, and again, it's the same idea of this break, hook, and go solution that could definitely be very helpful for Bitcoin over in here. So if it comes back down towards support, I would say at around 8K, not 7.9K at the least. then it could definitely still bounce off of this area, and that's really the lowest point that I see Bitcoin falling back to here for the most part. Now, I do want to look at this from some of the EMAs, indicators, and oscillators such as the MACD and the RSI, but I also want to look at this from these one-day moving averages, because this is, again, a very, very significant thing. We were looking at this death cross, definitely looked like it got defied, and now we are using the 200 EMA as support once again. Again, a very, very popular and reoccurring theme over here is going to be this break, hook, and go. With, of course, this being the break from the 200 EMA, testing this upper level of resistance, coming back down, testing it. So now what was very clearly former resistance is now turned support, being, again, the 200 EMA. And let's just zoom in on this so we can see it just ever so much better. If we zoom in over here, we can see that very clearly Bitcoin had used this as resistance, used this as resistance again, came up here, broke through it, and now it's very clearly using it as support. Now, the reason I say that it's using it as support because not a single candle body closing has been below the 200 EMA, much like this support area that we are talking about over in here being this the former top now being the current bottom, but also in the sense that this 200 EMA was former resistance now turned support as well. And while you do have wicks over here, each and every one of these candle body closings on a daily time scale is bouncing off of this 200 EMA, which is just another sign for the bulls. Quite frankly, in my opinion, over here you have rounding, or potentially looking like it wants to be rounding double bullish divergence on the MACD. And I know that's going to be debatable for some people, but that's my opinion. And looking at this back from the 4-hour RSI, this is looking like it wants to be very clear double, or whether you want to call this double or even triple bullish divergence on this MACD, something that doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it definitely is, again, a more bullish thing. So at the most that I see the RSI pulling back to is 30 being this oversold territory, in the least maybe it just has a little bit of a pullback. But I think in the overall macro of this, it's pretty hard to argue that this is just an entirely bearish, horrible situation for Bitcoin, and it's going back to $900. I saw some analysts claiming that it's going to $1K or $900 or something in the immediate future, and I think that argument is pretty silly when looking at a lot of the specifics, micros, macros, and even historical analysis of the current state of Bitcoin, because in all, it really doesn't look that bad. It defied a death cross. I think the best argument that you have for this current area is the possible rejection of the 4-hour EMAs and the potential of a 4-hour death cross over here, which again hasn't even happened yet. But if you are a bear, I think that's the best argument that you got. Maybe this rejection candle that you have up here from former support turn of resistance, but I think even that is a little bit of a stretch. So the main point that I want to make over here is that the macros of Bitcoin, and that there definitely is a lot more bullish evidence than there is bearish evidence, at least in my humble opinion, at this current state of Bitcoin. So not really too bearish from here on out. Again, I am expecting a move up and a break of these EMAs on Bitcoin. Potentials for it, as we talked about before, probably going to push at least back up to this 10K area. I would imagine that it at least retest this before the new year is here and upon us. But time will tell. So as we are moving into this new year, I am still bullish on Bitcoin, and I wanted to make that very clear. I haven't been able to make any videos lately. I have been pretty sick, so excuse my voice if it is froggy, at all. So with that being said, guys, I am going to go ahead and round up this video. If you guys did enjoy, let me know your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below. I know this is a highly debatable topic right now. I know a lot of you guys disagree, a lot of you guys agree. So let me know what you guys think about Bitcoin in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all very, very soon.